Hi there. Welcome to another fine episode of This is the Way of. That's not my mug. This is a Batman cup. I. It... I suppose that's okay though, because this isn't just another episode of This is the Way of Humanities. This is the way of your final exam. So, you might be asking yourself, final exam, what are you going to do? Post something up on Google Docs? We fill in the blanks? No, you've watched the last video. I gave you a hint. You know what's coming up. So, I have here a lovely page outline I will post up as a PDF, and it will give you all the guidelines that I am about to give you. For your final exam, you are going to act as though you are the teacher of the humanities class. You are going to create a lesson for the students in the class, tasking them with coming up with some type of product to show their understanding. So, what you're going to need, first off, the subject. Are you going to be looking at social studies? If that's the way that you want to go, you've got a few obvious way to go. We've got Japan, we've got the Spanish Aztec conquest, we've got the Renaissance. We also have the greater theme of worldview, and finally, number 5, current events. You could have your students do something on current events and how they impact their lives. Language arts. If you go this route, you could look at a short story, you could look at a novel you wish we would have done as a novel study. You could look at poetry or a poem. Music counts there too, so hey, don't discount that too lightly. You could look at having students create an essay or their own short story. You could even do a grammar lesson if you would like to. Feeling as though that's not very attractive to many people. So, once you have picked your subject, and if I have not given you something in that little list that really piqued your interest, feel free to fire me an email or a comment down below, down there, and I will happily answer your question. I know lately it's taken me a couple days. I'm sorry, I'm kind of running around tying up loose ends as the year comes to a close, but I promise I will pay closer attention, get right back to you. So, if you're coming up with something that you don't feel fits those guidelines, you're a little worried, comments and emails, love them. So, once you have your subject picked, you are going to have to come up with 2 to 5 resources about that subject. It's not good enough just to say, go and do a research essay about Japanese samurai swords. You're going to have to find a couple of resources for your potential students to be looking at. These could be YouTube videos, these could be articles that you source online, these could be the names of books. If you're doing something like a short story, the really easy one is the short story itself. You're halfway done if you're only doing 2 resources, 20% done if you're doing all 5. So, 2 to 5 resources. You have to teach a little bit before your students can start their work. Once you have given them some resources to learn about a topic, you are going to move on to a product. What is it that the students are going to complete to show their understanding? This could be an essay. You've learned all about Japanese katana and samurai swords. Write an essay about why they are not the most amazing swords in the world as demonstrated through Hollywood fiction. It could be to write a short story. We've done interviews throughout the year. You could go with something more concrete and tell them to do a diorama. You could look at an arts-oriented scene and say, hey, do an illustration, do a PowerPoint. All of these things are totally feasible, and they are just the tip of the iceberg. Again, if you are worried that I won't accept your idea, I'd love to hear your questions. Always do. I can nearly guarantee that my answer is going to be, wow, that is so creative. Hadn't thought of it. Love it. Run with it. But feel free to ask and counterbalance your worries. So you've got a subject. You've got some resources. You've got a product that the students are going to have to complete. Now's the time where you have to do your lesson. First part of your lesson is the actual presentation of the information, not just here's 2 resources, go look at them. A short video, 2 to 5 minutes, where you explain to me why these resources are so important, why this topic is worth looking at, and why you have chosen to do the product that you are doing. Wow, that sounds familiar. I think I might do that sometimes. I think I take longer than 2 to 5 minutes. It's possibly because I am very, very old. And so it takes me a while to get everything out. Then again, it could be because I like talking to you guys, because I've found that these videos are generally shorter than my classroom sessions. It's not as fun speaking to a computer. I mean, I look and I see only my own face. Do you know how sad and disheartening that is? Let's face it. Not a handsome man trapped in COVID. Mr. Pav made fun of my hair. He said he liked the blonde streaks that I had put into it. Pav, that's gray. That's gray. Sorry, guys. Your video, 2 to 5 minutes. Like I say, outline why you think the subject's important, where you have found your resources, what they are, and what your product, like why are you going with that type of a product? Why a diorama and not a Minecraft thing? Why a picture of something and not an essay about it? So tell me about that. Once you get your video done, you are going to have a choice here, and this will answer some of the comments that I received in the last video. You could do a slideshow that would go with your little video, so this is something your students can refer back to. Oh, these are the things that I have to do. Here's a slide with my resources. Here's a slide with the product. Here's a slide talking about the subject. Or you could do it up as a document / worksheet type of a thing. Lately, I've been doing these ones. I really like this Rocketbook technology. It's kind of cool. It allows me to kind of put my thoughts down as they're coming to me, organize them a little bit on the paper, and then fire it off directly to you guys. I kind of feel like it might give you that feeling that you're in the classroom seeing my scribbles up all over the whiteboard. Normally throughout the year, I've done a combination of a sheet or a slideshow handout. We watch the slideshow, I give the lesson, you've got the handout to refer back to. So you're going to need a slideshow or a sheet, your choice. And if you can come up with an interesting way to do it, you've discovered your own personal Rocketbook type of a thing, please feel free. I would absolutely love to see it. Included on that slideshow or worksheet, I need to know what materials I as a student would have to bring to complete the assignment that you have given me. So generally speaking, throughout the year, this has been pretty easy because I've been able to tell you guys, hey, this is what we have in the class, or we can access Mr. Pav downstairs for the shop so we can get these extra things. If you need stuff other than that, talk to your parents, go to a dollar store, see what's at home. With COVID, this whole materials thing becomes a little harder. Honestly, for me to tell you guys, hey, we're going to do a painting as a representation of some aspect of, say, Renaissance culture, art in the Renaissance, who would have figured? Very difficult to assume that all 80-something of you guys have paints at home handy and a space to use them. So list out your materials. Let your students know what type of things they are going to need to complete this assignment. And finally, and this last one might put a little bit of a damper on some of your thinking, you need to create a sample of the finished product. So if you tell your students that they are going to be doing an essay on that katana, you're going to do the essay on the katana first, so that I can see what you as a teacher would think was a quality essay. If you're telling students you need to create a diorama of a library in one of the 3 cultures that we studied, you're going to have to create a diorama of said library in one of those 3 cultures. So, as you are planning what you want your lesson to be, consider the materials section so that you can go through the house, make sure that you've got the things that you need to create. Consider the amount of time to be put in. Now, inevitably, I'm going to get questions about the due date for this one. My due date. We are currently sitting at Monday, the 8th of June. You guys have school right up to and including Monday, the 25th of June. That's not a Monday. I'm not awake. Things get tough. 22nd, Friday, 25th of June. So, right up until that last day of school, these finals can be trickling in. You have a full 2.5 weeks to be working on this. Please, by all means, send it in one piece at a time as you're done. Once you get your subject and your resources done, fire me an email with them. Once you've got an idea for your product done, fire me an email. When your video's done, don't wait to get your slideshow or worksheet. I'll take that later. Fire me the video. If you want to do the worksheet, the slideshow first, fire that to me. This can be put together in any way, shape, or form you want to. If you want to start with the sample, I'm going to do this really cool diorama of a Renaissance military fortress. Do up your diorama, send me some pictures, and then start working on your lesson. However you are comfortable with this one. I want to see how you like to work and how you build your understanding of the topics that we talk about in humanities. So, I will definitely check in next week with another video just to kind of throw some comments about the things that I've been receiving, let you see my smiling face. In the meantime, I would love to see your comments down below, and Batman is really cool. I am not he, but this is the way of humanities. Have a great night, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.